From Florida's Space Coast, this is Your Career.
Welcome to Your Career. I'm Debbie Featherston, your host, and with me today is Leslie Bishop, and she is the president of Empowering Pathway. Leslie, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
As well as Kathy King, president of Kathy King Coaching. Ladies, I'm really excited about this program today because it's all about coaching, specifically life coaching. Let's make certain that everybody has a clear understanding of what is life coaching.
That's a great question. I believe life coaching is somebody that helps people turn obstacles into opportunities. They help people really become their best. And if somebody has a goal or a desire that they want to create or they want to move towards and they feel stuck, life coaches can help them.
I think it's also people become just stuck in a mess, or they're just life weary. A lot of people just get life weary with their circumstance. And I always think that it's like a path, like from side of the river to the side of the river, and the rushing life is in there, and you're going from goal to goal, and first goal to second goal to third goal to the biggest goal of life, which of course is a wonderful, joyous existence.
Yeah, and so you're really trying to help somebody navigate
Yes.
those waters and try to determine what's the right path and maybe slow down a little bit, make certain they got some work-life balance. Is that kind of
Exactly.
another
It is.
dimension of that?
Yeah.
And when you have so many different things that are looming, it's very hard to move forward when there are just so many arrows coming at you. And it's easier when you have someone to be able to talk with that helps you kind of move your priorities and decide what it is that you want to work on first and put aside and accomplish next and put aside. And so that's really what a life coach is. It's it's really like a life cheerleader almost.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And life coaches also, recognize when somebody has some limiting beliefs that are stopping them from moving forward. A lot of times we don't know what we want, and then when we do decide what we want, we have these limiting beliefs that are keeping us from getting there. So life coaches help us become clear about what it is that we're thinking that's stopping us or keeping us from moving forward, and achieving what we want in our life.
So it sounds like an obstacle can be many things. It could be my thinking, my mindset. It could be a belief system. It could be family,
work.
other kinds of issues. So it's very complicated at times, right?
Yes.
So let's move along and let's talk about how does somebody determine that they want to be a life coach?
I had been a teacher for years and have always worked with people, and I didn't even know what a life coach was, but I just knew that I wanted to really make a difference in someone's life. Or I do some group coaching as well, so not just one-on-one, but groups. I love to work with teens. And I just decided that I would really, really like to take classes and become a life coach and make a difference in that venue.
So that was your way of making that connection with those young people that you are passionate about.
I didn't want to grade any more papers.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Kathy. So kind of twofold there.
Yes, deal with any more
All right.
parents. I
All
wanted
right.
to deal one-on-one with things that really made a difference.
Leslie, any different perspective?
I just think somebody who likes to see people do good in life and who likes to encourage and support people and help them really achieve their goals. And you get so much from when you help people that it's a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful profession to be in, to be able to help people achieve and create their goals. And I was a cheerleader in high school, and so also as a hairdresser for many years, and I really believe that played a large role in life coaching for me, because on an unconscious level, I was really always kind of coaching people while I was doing their hair. I always want people to feel good. I want them to look good, and now I can help them to feel good inside versus just on the outside.
Well, thinking about hairstylists, often when you're in a salon, you're hearing people telling a lot of their life stories
Absolutely.
as well, right? So I can see that connection, spending a lot of time in the salon over the years. So that's interesting. Well, what is the difference between coaching, life coaching specifically, and other service professions like maybe therapy or counseling?
For me, therapy tends to deal with past issues, people who are going through traumas, who really don't know how to cope with things that they've experienced in their past. And so, a therapist is more educated and has degrees in order to do that. And so a life coach doesn't so much talk about what's happened to people in their past. They're more about, here we are now and where do we want to go? This is where, this is what you say you want to achieve and what you want to create. So how are we going to get there from here? We do talk a little bit about, issues in the past, but we don't stay there long. It's more of a tendency to move forward from the past.
Maybe using some of that past as a way to say what worked in the past. And maybe
Exactly.
you building on lessons in the past and moving a person,
Yes.
using it to help them move forward in that
Well, our
respect
past makes up who
versus
we are now, too.
analyzing it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Kathy?
Well, I was just going to say that the coaching is not a medical profession, which counseling and therapy really are. And so I was asked one time what was the difference between talking to your best friend and talking to a coach. And I think your best friend is going to agree with just about everything you say, and they're going to love you no matter what. Coaches really, I've had clients who don't have any goals, and I know you have as well. Just allowing them to really think about personally, what do I want from life? How can I make my life better? What is it that would bring me joy? What is it that would bring me fulfillment in life? And I think that's something that, like you said, the past issues and hurts and substance abuse of those are therapy counseling issues that we do not deal with, nor do we give advice. We don't stray from asking questions and really trying. The coach is kind of like the train tracks and the client is like the train. We just move wherever that train goes, and we just kind of help them navigate, as you said earlier, toward the future.
And coaches are taught to know that the client really has all the answers within inside of them, and we're not there to tell them what to do or how to do it. We're just there to ask them open-ended, empowering questions to help them really get clear about, their own guidance.
So what you're doing is you're really helping them to identify what's the real pressing issue that you want to focus on, and then helping them to explore what they want to do around that. Is that a fair way to assess it?
Yes.
Because you're trying to draw the answers out of them.
Right. As a teacher, I found that you can tell kids over and over and over again how to do something, and they'll nod their heads and say yes, yes, but until they actually find a way to do it themselves and that aha moment comes about them and they look up at you and go, I got it. That's what coaching is. That's the joy of seeing your client go, I can do this. I really can do this. I've got this.
Probably the most powerful tool that a coach has is asking questions. Is that fair?
Yes,
Absolutely.
but listening for the answers as
Yes,
well,
indeed.
because I think there's so many people that, and I probably am guilty of this as well. I'm quite the talker, so if I don't train myself to listen and really hear what my client is saying, I don't. Sometimes there's subtle things that come out in answers, and some things that they don't say that their body language might say, or that they leave unsaid. And those sometimes are more important than what you actually hear the client say.
And you learn that in coaching. When you take
Sure.
your coaching, classes, they teach you, how to listen at a deeper level, and more of an intuitive level. Also, what the client is not saying, and sometimes what they're saying, you can hear, that there's gremlins in there that or there's triggers that they have, and to identify those as you're listening on a deep level to them. So yeah, it's I had to learn that. That was very challenging for me at the beginning when I started my coaching. When I was in school, is to really listen to somebody in a deep level and not just on the surface.
And that takes practice, I would imagine.
It does.
Absolutely.
Because you're listening for, the some of the things I think, Kathy, you probably mentioned, it's that facial expression, the body language. It's what they're not saying. It's maybe the pause. You can feel or hear the shift in energy sometimes.
Yes, definitely that.
Those just come, okay. So, what attracted you ladies to life coaching? You have your own individual life coaching practices. What attracted you to life coaching?
Go ahead.
For me, my own personal experience is I had gone through breast cancer several years ago, and and I had learned to look at it in a different way versus fearing it. And so for me, by being able to look at it differently, it really changed my experience of it and my outlook of it, and you know, how I was just able to move through it in a more positive way. And so I really believe, you know, our own personal experiences are very powerful in helping us, you know, in helping life coaches actually coach others. You know, there's nothing more powerful than going through the experience of something.
I had a similar experience. God bless you, I did not have breast cancer, but I found myself the 24/7 caregiver of both of my parents, who were kind of fading at the same time. And it went on for 2 years, and I learned early on that, first of all, they did not deserve someone who's not happy, and second of all, their circumstances were their circumstances. And I really learned how to experience joy and happiness in the midst of circumstances. So that's what I try to coach my clients on. We can't sometimes control what goes on around us or what our circumstances are, but we can control our attitudes and how we see things, how we move around in what life unfolds.
Interesting.
Exactly.
You know, life coaching is a $1 billion industry. What do you think is really driving the growth in this life coaching practice?
Maybe this is just old-fashioned, but there seems to be a stigma of going to a psychiatrist or going to a counselor or something like that. And there's also a more personal touch with a coach. I mean, it is, your coach becomes a friend of sorts because you deal with your deepest secrets, and there's such a high confidence level there. There's no medical deal. There's no, it's not stilted. And so I have never really been to a counselor, so I think that's just, plus it's another expense on your insurance, and maybe they think that going to a coach is just not that they can come talk to a coach openly and honestly and more and easier.
Okay.
And also, you know, in the workplace, you know, employees are more stressed, and there's a high rate in turnover. You know, the economy, people are very stressed, and so they need to learn how to handle, you know, work and their personal life all at the same time. And so they just need to learn how to balance, you know, life. And so a coach is somebody they can talk to and can relate with them and help them get a little more on track with their, you know, their thoughts.
So, who makes a good coach? What are some of the ingredients? If I'm making a cake and I'm getting ready to make a cake, what are those ingredients?
You throw in compassion.
Compassion.
You throw in active listening. You would throw in a genuine love of people. And an ability to relate. What else would you say there?
Really listening, like we talked about, on a deeper level. Somebody who just wants to see people do good in their life, and, you know, wants to support them and uplift them. That's who makes a good coach.
Okay.
Someone who wants to make a difference. I have to throw that in because that's just so important to me.
Okay. All right. So those are some of the ingredients that you would put into making this, you know,
coaching cake.
Yeah, coaching cake.
Right.
It's a chocolate coaching cake. We're in business.
Exactly.
So a good coach needs to have good active listening skills. They need to be one who really are compassionate and that really like people and want to make a difference in people's lives. Those are some of the general things that I heard. Anything that I missed in that?
I would just add integrity.
Integrity.
Just because it's important to be trustworthy and to have, you can tell when someone is really open and honest for the right reasons, and I think that's really important.
Yeah, people like to feel like they can relate with you. You know, that's why sharing your experiences with them, you know, sometimes is helpful, because they feel like they can relate better with you, that you're not above them.
So when we're thinking about someone who may be wanting to start a coaching practice, what are some of the industry trends or that they should keep in mind, right, to ensure that their practice, their coaching practice, you know, is viable? Anything come to mind?
I know, the internet is very popular for coaches now, webinars, videos, YouTube.
Are these tools that they use to promote their coaching?
Yes,
or?
absolutely.
Okay, so they're using it for promotion, not actually
There's
delivering
even
coaching?
iPhone apps now
For coaching?
For coaching, yes.
To give coaching tips?
To give
or-
coaching tips, to help people stay on track with their
Okay.
goals.
Okay.
When I first started my classes, one of the things they kept stressing was to choose your niche and to make sure that you were comfortable coaching about what it was you chose to do. And this gets back to life coaching or business coaching or executive coaching or wellness coaching or, if you take out one specific niche, those are the things that empower you as a coach because you've had experience in that direction. You know what you're talking about. I would never even attempt to be an executive coach because I've never been in that sort of workplace environment. So I think that's really important.
Interesting. So, what is the biggest challenge that you feel a new coach may experience?
They always tell you not to quit your first job when you start your coaching.
Getting clients.
It really is. Getting clients and coming up with a price point that you feel. I heard so many times in class that people were struggling with, I don't feel like I have enough experience to be able to charge this amount of money, but I can't really afford to live on this amount of money. And they talk about, I guess and you probably heard the same thing, that because it's a billion-dollar industry, it's a moneymaker of a job. And it's not as you're starting out. I find it very much of a struggle to get enough clients to make enough income to have it be your only career job. It
So
can
that's
be,
one of the
and you just
struggles
work-
of a new coach.
Yes, you just work
is that
toward
getting
that.
the getting the clientele, getting the visibility, and being able to market and promote oneself. Because how do you really
Exactly.
differentiate yourself
Right.
as a life coach? Because there's so many coaches that they could choose from.
Right. Well, be an expert in your niche. Whatever it is that you're coaching on, be the best that you can at it. And also, I really believe that life coaches shouldn't just hand out a card. That you need to really meet somebody personally and talk with them. Hold seminars, hold talks. I did a lot of speaking engagements where you introduce yourself and tell about what you do. And get to know the public
So
in that
really
way.
get into the community and go into some of these business networking groups, or go to the chamber
Yes.
meetings,
relational.
or associations of some type that
Exactly.
may be aligned with your niche.
Right, where you can meet people in person and introduce yourself. Also, write articles. I wrote several articles in the beginning, how to be joyful in the work atmosphere, and then at the end of the articles, you put a little shirt tail that, Leslie Bishop of Empowering Pathway, and you put your information at the end of the articles. That's one way to get yourself out there and recognized.
And I understand that there's a lot, like eZine, I think that's a magazine online, that they're always looking for articles. So that might be a great way for a
Right.
young coach to begin to increase visibility.
I think word of mouth is just key in for a life coach. A testimony on your website, how you helped this person and what you did for them. And people read those things and go, gosh, that's really, I need to do that. I need to feel that. I need to get there.
So
And
go
when
ahead.
you coach somebody, also at the end of the coaching, ask for referrals.
Great way to do it. So what are some typical reasons? You talked about a number of them. What are some of the reasons that you work with coaches? What are your specializations?
My specialization is teens, but I also work with women who I really, I kind of took on the name of the Joy Coach just because I mentioned this earlier, I really want people to find the joy in life despite their circumstances. It's hard to do, but it's possible to do, and you know that as well, having been through what you've been through. But teens, I also work with.
And what's your work with the teens?
I have a website called twitter.me, and I have a group of girls that I work with, and we're just starting it. We're just getting it moving, and probably this summer will be our best work time. But
What's the focus? Are you building character? Are you?
we are going to build everything that young teen girls need. it's going to be an interactive website that helps teens to work around the
life skills.
life
then.
skills, all
Okay.
life skills,
Okay.
but not technology. Like we're
Right.
going to kind of try and remove that from,
Gotcha.
you know,
Gotcha. And Leslie, how
conversation and not, pardon me, and not
Gotcha.
cell phones.
about you? Okay.
Well, I work a lot with clients who have limiting beliefs, who feel that you know they're stuck or they're fearful of moving forward, and you know I ask questions. You know, why are you fearful? You know, what is it that you want? What are you afraid is going to happen? And then we work with those limiting beliefs. A lot of times, the reason they're not moving forward is because they're stuck in fear or anxiety, and so. I work a lot with the emotions and the guidance system and listening to your inner guidance.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what are some of the key steps that you would advise an upcoming coach to take that would ensure their financial viability?
When I started, I thought that I wanted to be completely credentialed, completely certified, so that at least I had that behind me. Because there are a lot of people that just
Lending
say,
your
I'm going to be
credibility.
a life coach, and they just, you know, you just really don't know who's credentialed and who's
Okay.
not. And a lot of times it doesn't matter.
So getting credentials might be a
Getting
really good thing.
credentialed,
What
yes.
else?
I would research the ICF, which is the International Coaching Federation website. There's a lot of resources on there, and it tells you a lot about how to, you know, go about getting credentials. And the school I went to was accredited by the ICF, so that's important if you're going to look for a school that they're represented by them.
Yeah, and the International Coach Federation is the governing body of the rules, the ethics that
Yes.
you know oversee all coaches. I'm not a life coach, but I am a certified coach in organizational and careers. So, you know, much different world I live in and work in. So as a individual who might be interested in a coach, what might the coaching relationship really look like? What's your role? What's my role as a coachee?
I think a lot of coaching is done on the telephone. You can you can coach people all over the world, or as you spoke about earlier, you can do internet coaching, Skyping. I do a lot of one-on-one, face-to-face coaching. But I think it's just going to take somebody who is just really wants to do something different and fun. It's a real unique, to me, it's a unique profession, just because it is so different. And
So what kind of length of time might you work with that person?
I meet with clients once a week, anywhere from 45 minutes to a half hour, and it can be done over the phone. I personally like to meet in person because we do some meditations, we do visualizations, we do a lot of relaxation where I play music, and it's kind of, so I like to have that personal one-on-one. It's not necessary. So I meet anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour once a week.
Okay.
The client to make a commitment of at least a 3-month commitment.
So that you can begin to see a shift in some behavior
Yes.
is what it sounds like. So your longer term. Kathy, any different?
anything less than 3 months really doesn't, like you said, doesn't show where any movement in a client. I usually see, I have a couple that I do once a week. I think every other week is fine. Whatever, actually whatever financially they can afford to and are willing to put into it. And I find that, you know, if they're willing to put in, they are willing to take ownership of it, and they know that they've paid for it, so they better get something worthwhile
So
out
you
of
want to
it.
make certain it's a good investment.
Yeah.
So you look at your, and that's a whole nother conversation in terms of some of the details around pricing, which again, directing them back to the ICF, that might give them some
Right.
ideas, and then in their schools that might help them with their pricing and how to market, and some of those other particulars. What are some of the benefits of, you know, a person working with a coach like you?
Goals get achieved. You know, they learn how to be accountable for doing what they say they're going to do. And it feels good to know that they come up with the solutions, they come up with the answers, and that they have it all within them, that there's nothing that needs to be fixed, that they're perfect the way they are. And, you know, and it's just that camaraderie of the coach listening and understanding and guiding and just being a support. And it helps really empower them in their life.
I actually heard accountability partner, Leslie, when you were describing that
Yes,
you really,
it
as
is.
a coach, you're an accountability partner, or can be. not
Yes.
all coaches would see themselves as an accountability partner.
Because a lot of people say they want to do something, but they just can't stay focused to do it. So a coach really helps them stay focused and keeps them on track so that they can really achieve what they say they want.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing how fast our time goes, and I really appreciate both of you coming. Kathy King, president
you
of
so much.
Kathy King Coaching, and Leslie Bishop, president of
Empowering Pathway.
Empowering Pathway. I got the pathway. Well, and on behalf of my guest and everyone here on the set of Your Career, thank you for watching, and remember, be career happy.
More information about this program is available online at millermediagroup.org.